So we have all of these things going on in the world. The war, the pestilence, famine, all of those things that we walked into. We try to predict when it was coming. We have individuals who have written books and documentaries and whatever about when it was coming. But there are books from centuries ago, maybe even millennia. They talk about apocalyptic things. And we try to figure out when it's going to happen. We look for the evidence, certain things that transpire or is allegedly to transpire. The problem is, the first part of that is interpretation. The other part of it is misinterpretation. So we can't understand something that we don't know. Like, we don't understand, we don't know that language completely. And whomever interpreted those things, it was misinterpreted by later generations. And there's some areas that are missing, should I say. There are some books that are missing. There are words that are misconstrued or missing. It's just a lot of controversy there. It's from the Ark of the Covenant to now. Like, all of those things were still biased when they were put out, because only certain information was to be released to human beings, and we're missing a lot. So we're trying to interpret something that is sketchy to begin with. We're trying to predict when the end of the world is going to be. There are people who are saying the end is nigh, and people who are walking around saying, hey, it's going to be this date or that date, or the end is this and the end is that. Well, technically we are in it. People say it's 7 years, but years back then wasn't the same. We just don't recognize that this has been something that's been ongoing for a very long time. Time isn't straightforward. It's not linear. It's not something that we could just say, okay, this is what time is. No, time happens in many dimensions, along different lines. It isn't linear. We are trying to put these years, the 7 years here, 1444, blah, 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 all these things, all these numbers, we're trying to put together with time. It doesn't work, because you're trying to make something out of something that is not. Time, because time isn't linear, we have to put these things in that perspective. So if something says, okay, there'll be 7 years apiece, then after that, this and that and the other, all of these things, you fight. But no. There's a whole hell of a lot that still happens between all of these events. Even during the peace is just, it's the calm before the storm. But there are still things going on. We're being distracted to not see them. So it doesn't mean that peace may exist superficially, but it's truly not there. Think of a tsunami. It has to pull back in order to swell. So when you think, oh, okay, shoreline's receding, and you can see all the fucking dead fish and the deep crevices and all of that shit, run, bitch. No, that's not something you stay for, because there's a tsunami on its way, and it can hit at any moment. And you probably are looking at it, but in the distance, it looks like maybe clouds, or I guess the horizon of the sea. No, whore, that is a very large wave coming to wipe you and the community. It's near out. That's the same that we're dealing with during those peaceful years, the alleged peaceful years. So that's the time for you to get your shit together. Run and go and seek shelter in a situation of tsunami, or getting yourself together and prepared for what's to come. Being conscious of every fucking thing. Being awake. That's what this is right now. Awakening to these things. And this isn't the peaceful time. I'm not saying that. It's saying that we need to be awake, because this shit is about to get worse. It's about to be fucking horrible. Horrible. It's going to be worse than what it is. I've seen it. Those great gifts again. Those dreams I get to see. I wish I'd started this podcast before, like a while before. before all of this shit hit the fan, because I would have told you about the dream I had that showed me what the fuck is about to happen, and it would have been irrefutable. The only person I told was my wife, and she can vouch for that shit. I told her that dream, like something is about to fucking happen in this world, and a lot of people are about to die, including my loved ones. Lo and behold, I swear. Anyway, enough about me. Even though that's like the best subject I love discussing. We need to be aware of what's going on. Like this apocalyptic shit, we're in it. It's okay, well, we're looking for, what the fuck are you looking for? It's like being in the eye of a storm. We're looking for the wind, we're looking for the rain, we just have a few drops, a little bit of a gust. Whore, look around you. You are in it. And it's about to fucking swallow you up too. Because you are not aware, you are not awake. So you don't know to prepare yourself. You're just going with the flow. You think it's clear, so you're acting as if it's clear. It's not. Around you is chaos. Recognize it. Open your fucking eyes. It's there. So when it does get to you, you can't say, oh my God, where did this come from? I never knew this was going on. Motherfucker, what rock have you been under? Jesus. So we have to be smart about this. We have to do better. And that's the thing. Once we do, we'll get all of the answers that we need. When I relinquished I was purposely trying to repress this gift because it is a lot for a person to handle. But then when I recognized what it was, I let the shit flow. And then when I let the shit flow, I started having all of these things occur. All of these great, well, not great for most people, but seeing the devil face to face, seeing all of these just negative forces and what they look like and what they entail, seeing all the things and the horrible events that are going to happen, a normal person wouldn't be able to see that shit. But because I've seen so much horrific shit in my life, that shit didn't faze me at all. It's to the point where the devil comes to me in my dreams like, look, bitch, this is what I got for you now. This person right here, that person. Okay, why the fuck are you telling me? This is their journey. Oh, so you don't want to do your job? I mean, if I had to, what the fuck? What are you saying? What is up? You know, so I'm not saying we have a friendship, but we have an understanding. If there's someone that I care about that needs guidance, he'll come to me and say, look, I'm doing this in that person's life. And then I'll be able to help them. In turn, I'll leave them the fuck alone. Why? Because I have the power in me to destroy him. So, in that, I can't say but so much. Okay, so there's, without sounding like a fucking kook to you people, because that's the first thing that you want to think when people have special gifts, as opposed to finding what the fuck yours is. Anyway, in my past lives, I've discovered who I was then and why these relationships still exist, because it's the same soul that obviously I have that existed a very, 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 very long fucking time ago. And who I was at that point is who I am now. And that's why I'm back with this motherfucker. And he knows exactly what it is that I can do. So now we're just like, all right, we work together to get this shit done. Which is what's supposed to happen anyway. We're supposed to work together to do what's supposed to be done in order to help people get to where they're supposed to be. And you know what? Let me clear this up. The devil isn't actually what people make the devil out to be. And that's another reason why I am tolerant. The devil isn't this God-defying, so forth and so on. No. This is the position that he's supposed to play. It's kind of like, you know, you have your ranks in the military. You have everyone on up to your generals, and then you have your joint chief of staff, all of those people. So he's in a very high level, one of those positions. And it's his job to do these things. Because if there was no devil and then his army, there would only be good. And people wouldn't know what bad is. So people would think that killing people is good. Oh, this is good. We only have good. So murdering you is good. No, it's not. You have to understand what bad is in order to know what's good. And that's a bad thing. Killing is bad. You know, the 10 Commandments, in order to understand what stealing is, it has to be noted as bad. It has to be noted as what it is. Stealing, killing, coveting another neighbor's things, those things, all of that, bad. And then you have good, which is not doing those things. He has a position to play. So we can't just completely rule him out. We can't just, of course we have to naturally not do the bad things and not give credence to the bad things, but we have to recognize that that bad exists in order for us to do good and be good. So he's a pariah, a good pariah, a functional pariah, so that we can stay on the right track. So we have to recognize Satan for what he is and do what we need to do to become the good people we're supposed to be. Now that's all part of the apocalypse and knowing when the Antichrist is going to come. And the thing about it is, the Antichrist is not something that the devil really fucking is keen on. Like, this motherfucker, I'm not really too keen on this bitch. But, we got to work with it. Like, we've discussed this in the past. Like, I'm not too fucking... Because if you think about it, the Antichrist isn't Satan himself. It's supposed to be one of his people, but that's the thing. Like, he almost takes over, the Antichrist takes over Satan's position. And Satan doesn't like that shit. He's a vain, egotistical motherfucker. Like, no, I don't like this bitch. But, rolls are rolls. Okay. All right. I understand you got a little bit of drama going on here. So I'm going to go ahead and stay out of that. But it's good. It's really good. Now, I'm not saying go ahead and start practicing Satanism. Satanism is a form, it still is a form of religion, and it's still believing that there's a God. They believe that there's a God to believe against, but the way that they worship Satan still reflects their understanding of God. And it also, they need to recognize that Satan is an angel. Satan is still an entity of part goodness. I know it's hard to swallow. It was hard to swallow when I got the information, but it's true. It's very true. Satan was put there in that position specifically for us. Which way we go, it's still our choice. Like, good and evil is kind of synonymous. It really is. We know it's synonymous and it's not. And we have to figure out what that means for ourselves. Like, the definition that I can give to it, because a lot of it sometimes can be confusing. Like this, it's one and both. So it's like we need them both to have one or the other. So it kind of cancels itself out. It's kind of like positive and negative integers together makes it a negative and all that other shit. Unless it's 0 and even still, like, it's confusing as shit. I hate math, but I get that. So when we're trying to be self-aware, we have to recognize the good and the bad in ourselves. It's kind of like the sun and the moon. In order to have one, we have to have both. We have to have the dark of night, and we have to have the light of day. We have to have our sun to give life to the earth. The sun is life-giving. But then the moon is emotion-giving. It shows us our darkness and helps us see. And it is beautiful to see the dark in ourselves, because it helps us to move along back to that sunlight. It's a repetitive process. We back and forth from light to dark in order to understand both. This is the part that's not linear either. It's not straightforward. You have to be open to understand it. If you're too rigid in your religion and in your understanding of what good and evil and God and Satan is, if you're too rigid in that, then you're keeping yourself closed off to the true information. And when you're closed off from the true information, you're not going to be properly prepared, sufficiently prepared for everything that's going on and that will happen, that's up and coming and going on around us. There's so much the average person doesn't know. Even people in seminaries studying theology are missing a lot of information. Why? Because again, the information that they're being taught is erroneous. It is tainted. It's missing information. It's all kinds of things, but the right shit. So these people are coming out and they're teaching the world the wrong shit. But there's good information out there. You just have to look for it. It depends on what your heart is drawn to. There are certain things that whatever our gifts are is what we're drawn to. If you're a witch or a warlock, you're drawn to maybe mythology and Pan and Dionysus, the stars and those things, nature. So you're going to want to understand how those things work together. If you're into other things, if you're into the ocean, then you're going to be drawn into the leviathans and the behemoths and those great things that are supposed to be coming to clear us out and show us what the fuck is going on. Kind of reminds you of like Hellbound, that movie. I don't know if anybody ever saw that, but it kind of touches on that. The story of Cthulhu. Cthulhu is this marine creature that comes out, and we already know this was supposed to be I don't want to say a children's story. It was an old story that was a series. I don't want to say a comic series, but it was. Look it up. It was written for entertainment, but it's real. And there's a lot of things out there that are written for entertainment, but it's based on reality. Cthulhu is real. It's Leviathan. It's in that first book of the Bible, and it talks about the beast of the deep. And it's fucking amazing how much we gloss over things that are right in front of our eyes and we don't talk about it. I kind of veered off of what people are attracted to, they need to learn about, but that's what I mean. Like, we don't, if it's not part of our passion, we're not going to investigate it. There's so many things that I've learned and looked into that I've forgotten. Like, that's why I can't remember who the fuck wrote it. It's sad. Like, I'm fucking sitting here and talking about this, about Leviathan and Cthulhu, and who the fuck wrote about Cthulhu. Like, it was in my brain. It's so much there that I have to push some shit to the back. Like, it's just, it's overloaded sometimes. Anyway, so if that's what your things are, you're going to be attracted to that. But if it's not, if you are blind to it, you're not going to want to. It's going to be boring to you. You're not going to want to understand what it is, which is fine because everyone has their own thing. But you need to find out what that thing is, because it's the key to your surviving this shit that's happening. It's your key. It's your door. So find it. Find that key and open up that goddamn door. Because once you do, it'll open up your life and your world. We repress our gifts. We repress our desires. We repress everything. We repress our lives by repressing. If there's something that you like to do, some people say, hey, I like to sing, but everyone wanted me to be a doctor or this, and this. Maybe your gift to be here is singing, because music is of the gods. It's of the cosmos. The cosmos make a sound. And that is music. So why wouldn't you do something like that? So what comes with you opening up that part of you, exposing your song to the world, you get blessed for that. You'll have your happiness. You'll have your peace. You'll definitely make your income from it, because it's what you're supposed to do, because you will be the best at that thing. Think about Beethoven. This motherfucker, it was deaf, but it was music that he was great at. Go figure. Like, what the fuck? So you never let those things take it away. If that's where your heart is, let it flow. everything else will be given to you. He wouldn't have been happy doing anything else. Really? Like he would have been happy being an astronomer or a philosopher or something like that? No, because that wasn't his gift, despite his disability. So think about that. You're not here to do what your parents want you to do or anyone else. We need all hands on deck right now. If you have a special gift, do it. Use it. We need it right now. Now more than ever, we can't keep doing this shit anymore. For millenniums on top of them, people have been doing what society has been telling them to do. People have been killing witches. Why? Because they're different? Granted, of course, there always will be bad people, but these people weren't bad. They knew and were connected to the earth and to the gods and what can be done. Some people abuse those powers, but that's the human ego. They're not immune to that. They possess one just like everyone does. It's whether or not they use it with those special gifts. They should know better, but that's not everyone. So fuck society, fuck your parents, fuck everyone that's telling you to do something other than what your heart is telling you to do, because your heart is connected to God or whatever higher power you believe in, and that's what you should be following. Whom you should be following. Nothing else. No one else. Because all of your blessings will come from that. Your whole world will open up from that. You'll receive more insight from that. Everything you're supposed to do is through that gift. Everything you're supposed to be and everything you're supposed to affect in this world will result from that gift that you fully embrace. So find out what it is. A lot of people don't know what their gifts are. A lot of people don't know what their talents are. They just know they have an inkling of an idea. Like, I love helping people, or I love arts and crafts. I love this, and dig deep. Find out what the fuck that shit is. I knew for the longest time I loved helping people, but I didn't know in what capacity. So I was in sales, so I did a lot of volunteering. I did these certain things and still couldn't figure it out until one day it was shown to me. I should just fucking help people. That's simple. Sometimes it can be that simple, but a very, very hard fucking path to travel. But whatever it is, it will pay off in the end. I love telling people what to do. Now I really truly get to do it. And it feels good because I know that it ultimately helps other people. I'm not doing this shit because I really want to. I'm doing it because I have to. Because I actually care about what happens to humanity. Because no one else does. Everyone else wants to get shit from it. I don't. I'd rather lay in my goddamn bed on the beach some fucking where and live the rest of my life and not have to deal with people at all. But I put other people's needs ahead of my own because I know I have the information. I can live my life that way. The world is suffering because so many people are out. And it's so unnecessary. It's because we started off on the wrong path. It's my job to bring people back. So find out what your shit is, because we need all hands on deck right now. And once all hands are on deck, we can fight this battle that we're really approaching fast. This battle is coming. Everything around it is happening now, around us. And we're not going to win without every loving heart in this. Think about it. And let's do it together.